Hello friends, welcome to SavanKnits. This is my knitting podcast where I talk all about the things that I'm knitting that are bringing me joy. My name is Savannah and I live in Utah in the United States, and I am a stay-at-home mom and I love to knit and read, and I also like to ask you guys a question of the day, and this time I want to know what you guys are working on while you are watching this. So let me know what pattern, maybe the yarn that you are using, and it'll make it feel like we're all just hanging out together, knitting and crocheting and working on projects, and I think that would be really fun. So comment below, let me know what you're working on. You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as SavanKnits. I also have a Discord group and a Ravelry group as well if you would like to join and just connect with other makers. I love meeting new people and talking about things in a more personal way than just YouTube comments. So feel free to join if you would like, or you can also email me at SavanKnits@gmail.com if you'd like. I want to let you know what I'm wearing today. This is my Tulip Sweater Tee by the Bluebird Pine Shop. I made this last year with Hobie Rainbow Cotton 8x8 solid in the color Pastel Mint. And it wasn't my favorite pattern. It's not my favorite t-shirt to wear. In fact, I think this is the first time this summer that I'm wearing this t-shirt, but I've been wearing my other knitted tees so much. I'm kind of getting sick of them, so I needed something new, so I put this one on. The fit isn't the greatest. This collar really flares out quite a bit, even though there is elastic in it, I think, or at least I tried to put elastic in it and it didn't work. Maybe I need to try again. And I think the color is a little bit bright. I kind of feel like a highlighter when I put it on, like a highlighter pen. So I don't wear it very often, but when I put it on today, I was thinking that I probably should. I think it's a great basic tee when I'm just staying home and I don't need to worry that it's, it's a little bit too short and there's a little bit too much gaping in the armholes for my liking. So I wouldn't want to wear this out in public or like to a park or like taking my kids to something where I would worry about all of these things. But just around the house, it's a great lounge shirt. Maybe even it would make a good pajama shirt in the winter or in the summer. So anyways, that's what I'm wearing today. I have a regular podcast episode for you guys. I have a finished object, a couple of whips, and then acquisitions and a reading and watching update at the end. So let's get into the finished object. So my finished object is actually not knitting, it is crocheting. I made the Pua Poa Beach Swimsuit Coverup by Lindsay Rowe, and I think her Instagram name is Off the Beaten Hook. This is a free pattern. She also has a paid version that doesn't have ads. It has more schematics and details and things like that, but I just followed the one that's free on her website, which is super nice of her to make a pattern like this for free. I'm really happy with how it turned out. So I made the size large and I used a 5mm hook, and I used the yarn that she suggests, which is Lion brand Pima Cotton, and I used the color Vintage, which is the same yarn that she used in her sample. And I finished it, you guys. Look at this. Little tie in front. I chose to add some glass beads to it as well. I saw another person on Ravelry do that as well, and I thought that was a great way to customize it even further. So the last time we talked about this, I was talking about how I kept running out of yarn. I kept having to order more yarn, and it was frustrating to keep waiting and waiting and waiting for it to come and just keep getting stopped that way. And I also talked about having to restart this project multiple times just because I wasn't familiar with crochet gauge, like how to measure it really well. I'm still not great at it because when I finished both panels, you crochet one panel at a time. So this is one panel and it wraps from the front over your shoulder all the way to the back. So that's one huge panel. You make another one and then you sew them together, leaving a hole in the middle for the neck. And then you fold it in half and sew down the edges to make the sleeve arms holes. So when I did this, I made my panels, I followed the pattern as it said, and I sewed it all together, and it was huge. The amount of positive ease was ridiculous. It was not salvageable. It was just, it did not look good at all, even with the tie cinching things in. So I realized that I think my row gauge was really, really off. And I'm not even sure how, because every time I measured, I feel like I was getting the row gauge that it said. But I think I could just be measuring wrong because this is my first time doing a crochet garment. So I ended up unpicking the sewing, which wasn't too bad because it was, I think it was whip stitch, so I could just pull the thread out and it would just come undone really fast. And then I ended up ripping out almost half the width of these panels. I don't know how I made them so big. I messed up somehow. It's okay. I basically just ripped it out until I found like a length that I felt was good on the shoulder, and then kind of pinned it together on the sides to see how much positive ease it would give me. And so I did rip out a ton of rows. I only did 19 rows and then did, you know, the next double crochet row right here. And that ended up being the perfect amount of positive ease for me, which also means that I never needed to order that much yarn. I totally messed up, and now I have enough extra yarn to make a tee. I think I might make a ranunculus because I feel like to be a knitter, I just need to knit the ranunculus and see what the hype is all about. And I have plenty of this yarn left over to make one. So I am kicking myself a little bit that I didn't need to order all of these extra balls of yarn. I would have needed one extra because it calls for 5 balls for the size large, and I ended up using 5.5. Yeah, 5.5 balls. So, or maybe 5.25. Anyways, so I definitely did need extra yarn, but not the amount of extra yarn that I ordered. So I have a tee left over and I'm okay with that. I think it'll be cute. I'm just laughing at myself that I messed up that badly. But it all turned out in the end. I absolutely love this. Absolutely love it. It exceeded my expectations once I figured out the fit, and once I figured out the best place to weave in the tie. I love, love, love how this fits. I am a person that I don't really love swimming or going to water places where I have to wear a swimming suit, just because I have not really ever felt confident wearing a swimming suit or even a cover up. I am most confident when I am wearing cozy sweaters and long pants. That's just who I am. But wearing this, we went to a reservoir last weekend and I got to wear this for the first time and I felt so good. And that was just really a cool experience to actually feel confident in something, going to the beach or the reservoir or whatever it is. It was a new experience for me and I highly recommend. It was awesome to wear something that I've made, but that also makes me feel good. And that is exactly why I make garments for myself. It's because I'm chasing that feeling, that sense of accomplishment every single time. Brings me so much joy. So I have no regrets about how much time this cover up took, how much I had to, frog back and redo. In the end, it was totally worth it. I am so happy with how it looks and feels and all of those things. So yeah, just very, very in love with it. I started it on June 14th and finished it on the 28th. So it took me 2 weeks, which is pretty good considering I had to wait for yarn 2 or 3 times within those 2 weeks. So yeah, highly recommend the pattern if you want to make your own cover up, and the yarn is also really lovely, really soft. Can't wait to make a ranunculus, probably next year. Let's go into whips. My first whip is the Lumo by Rania Hakaleto, and it's from this book, Lakeside Stitches, Gentle Knits from the North. Yep. I love all the patterns in this book. I am going to make several of them this year, but here is the Lumo. So it's a round yoke colorwork tee. I'm using the same colors she is, except I'm doing dark blue for the main color and using the brown in the yoke. So last time I was still doing the colorwork yoke, and now I have finished. I am making a size 4, and I'm using Knitting for Olive Merino, and the colors are, the blue is Blue Tit, the white is Marzipan, and the brown is Ochre Brown. I am also using a 4mm needle, and that is for both the colorwork and the body. She just has 2 separate gauges listed for the colorwork portion and the body portion, and I am actually a bit tighter than what the gauge should be, but having tried this on, I feel like it's fitting really great, and I know I'll be able to get maybe an inch or so more of positive ease when I block it, so I'm not worried about the fit at all. In fact, I'm kind of glad I'm knitting a bit tighter because I wouldn't want this to be too oversized. Yeah, I think that the fit is great so far. I am a little bit worried about the arms, just because I've heard a lot of people say that when you have a round yoke, it's really helpful to have some raglan shaping after you finish the yoke increases, and they have you do just some raglan shaping right here near the underarm, and this pattern doesn't have that. She does have back row shaping after you're done with the color work on the back to add some length that wise, so I think that will be great fit for like the back of the neck and the length of the body. But I'm interested to see once I finish the sleeves how the fit will change, how it will look, but overall I'm really happy with it so far. I did a tubular cast on for this tee, which I am very proud of myself for doing because it is not my favorite, but I really like the look of it, so I'm happy with how that turned out. I'm very happy with the color work. It's very pretty. And this yarn, I have knit with Knitting for Olive Merino before, I think last year, and I don't love that tee that I made because I shrunk it and it's too short, so I usually use it as a pajama shirt now. But working with it this time, man, it's definitely going to be one of my favorite yarns. It is so soft, but not in a superwash feel soft. It's just, if you work with high quality wool, you know what I'm talking about. And I just don't work with high quality wool that often because it's a little bit expensive, but I think it's worth it for this. I really am enjoying the yarn for it. I am surprised how splitty it is, but I can get over that because I really do love how this feels. It is a bit more of an open gauge, I would say, down here. I mean, I feel like it is a little bit see-through, but I think that will be great for the summer because this is a merino tee, just straight wool, but I think I'll still be able to wear it. Maybe not on the hottest days, but on a lot of the days, just because it is drapey and fingering weight. So I think that will be fine. I'm not sure if I have much else to say. I'm just still working on it, and I am almost done with the body, which I think is the biggest hurdle to do. I loved the colorwork section so much, and I was sad when I got to just all of the fingering stockinette of the body, but I have been watching a couple shows and just trying to get through the body as fast as I can so it doesn't feel like it's taking a long time. And then after that, after I finish the body, you know, the ribbing and the tubular cast off, I can then go to the sleeves, and the sleeves will go by really quick because they're short sleeves, and with the circular yoke you've already come down quite a ways over your shoulder, so shouldn't be too long. Will this be done by the next podcast episode? Let's hope. I started this on June 13th, so I've been working on it for 3 weeks and 5 days. My final work in progress that I want to show you are some basic socks. I am calling these my In Bloom socks because the yarn that I am using is from Ruby and Roses, her soft rose base, and the color is In Bloom. So of course her signature speckling of all different colors with the kind of bluish green. Very, very pretty. I am doing something different this time. I keep trying to find a way to make my socks fit a bit tighter. So the first thing I tried for these ones is I went down to a 2mm needle, so a size 0. And I think I'm just not knitting tight enough, but I don't want to knit tighter when I'm knitting socks because I want them to be relaxing. And I keep trying to make myself knit tighter, and then my gauge just does weird things because I revert back to knitting looser. And a year ago when I first started making socks, I would knit so tightly that when I tried a 2mm needle, I could not even fit the cuff over my ankle when I tried them on. And now when I am knitting with a 2mm needle this year, they fit the exact same as my normal socks too. So I am not sure what's going on with my looseness. I have loosened up a lot in the past year, it seems. So I think the fit is a little bit better. Usually when I finish a pair of hand knit socks and block them, they do feel a little bit too loose for me. And I think these aren't as loose as other socks that I've made, but I did not fully wet block this sock. I followed advice from Earth Tones Girl, and she says that she just puts her socks on a metal blocker and then sprays them with water with a spray bottle and then leaves them on there to dry, and she finds that that way they don't get overly stretched. And so I did do that, and I do feel like they fit better because of that. So I think that's what I'm going to do from now on when I make socks, is just put them on the blocker, spray them with water, and leave them to dry. So yeah, I'm going to finish the other sock for this, but I think the next pair of socks that I do, I am going to go down in stitch count. I'm not sure if I'm going to go all the way down to 56 stitches for the cast on, which would usually be a size small for socks, which is so strange because I am nowhere near smaller sizes and shoe sizes. I wear like a 9 or a 10 size shoe, so the thought of making a size small in a sock is crazy to me, but my gauge is bigger, so it makes sense. I'm not sure if I'm going to do the size small, so the 56 stitch cast on, or if I should try a 60 stitch cast on. Not sure. I'm kind of tempted to just go all the way down to the 56 and just see, and then if they're too tight, I can always give them away to someone else, but at least I know that I went as tight as I could and then go back to the 60. Anyways, still trying to figure out the perfect recipe, but it's hard when my gauge keeps changing as a knitter, as I'm getting looser and looser, trying to relax while I'm knitting. So the details for this sock is that I did a 2x1 rib for the cuff, and for the cuff I did 3/4 of an inch or 2 centimeters, and I did a 4-inch leg including the cuff. I did a heel flap and gusset, and then I also did a contrast toe down here just with some extra Cascade Heritage in the color Snow. that I had in my stash. I really like the look of just the contrast toe without also the contrast heel. I don't love how contrast heels look in heel flap and gusset, so I decided to just do the toe, and it was kind of a last minute decision. I got to the toe and I thought that I would try to just do a contrast toe, and I like how they turned out. So I have cast on the second sock and I've been working on it. I just finished the leg yesterday, so I am ready for the heel flap and gusset now. I started these on June 28th, so I've been working on them for 1 week and 4 days. I now am going to go through 2 quick acquisitions. The first one is I did buy some more knitting for Olive because I was loving it so much, and they were having a little bit of a sale and I really wanted to try their cotton merino. So I got this one in Dusty Artichoke, and I am planning on making the floor tee by Brianna Mason, I believe. And I think these two, the pattern and this yarn, will go great together. And I've been wanting to make that pattern for so long, and I really wanted it to be green. So got some of this, 70% cotton, 30% merino, and it feels so good. Very excited to try it. And then I also made a bigger purchase and I got the Chiaogu needle set. This is the shorties set. So it goes from 2.75 millimeters up to 5 millimeters, and it comes with the cables that are shorter. Also, with all of those sizes of needles, it comes in 2 lengths. So you have a 3-inch tip and then a 1.5 or 2-inch tip. So you can make it more comfortable and have, you know, one side be shorter than the other while you're working in that small circumference. I have almost all of the sizes of Chiaogu needles in fixed circulars, usually around 32-inch cord or 32-inch length. And I have just been really needing a shorty kit to work on sleeves. I really don't like using magic loop for sleeves. I only do magic loop for socks or like gloves or something that aren't colorwork. So I really wanted to get this shorty set for the sleeves, especially colorwork sleeves, also colorwork mittens, many uses for this set. And I thought that, yeah, it would be cheaper to just buy the set than buy a ton of different shorty fixed circulars. So I am very excited about this, and I can't wait to use these on the sleeves for my Lumo tee. We are just flying through today, but hopefully you have still found it enjoyable. A quick reading and watching update. I read 2 books in the past 2 weeks that I liked. The first one was Diana, Her True Story in Her Own Words. I listened to this on audiobook. It's by Andrew Norton, and it's basically Princess Diana's story, what she went through, her perspective on things, and I found it very interesting. I haven't really researched her before, but she died the year that I was born, and so I've always been a little bit interested, and I'm really glad that I listened to this and heard things in her perspective, and also just learned a little bit more about all of the drama and things that happen in her legacy and the things that she was able to do. I found it fascinating. I gave that one a 4 out of 5 stars. The other book that I read and absolutely loved was Isola, which is by Allegra Goodman. This is based on a true story of a woman in mid-1500s in France, and she was sent to, she goes to Canada with her guardian. They're exploring the New World there, and she ends up getting marooned on an island and how she survives, and I found this fascinating. It was so good. Highly recommend. It was, the character development was absolutely phenomenal. I really cared about the character and what she went through, and I was just shocked that this was based on a true story. And I think the time period of the mid-1500s was really cool. It's a time period that I haven't really researched before, so yeah, I really enjoyed this one. 5 out of 5 stars. As for watching, I have been watching Christopher Nolan's Batman movies. I've never seen them before, and so my husband convinced me to watch them with him, and they're pretty good. I'm not a superhero movie girl. It's just not my vibe, but these ones are well done, I will say. So we have the third one that we still need to watch. And then I have started The Chosen season 5. Is that the new season that has come out? I'm watching that one pretty slowly because emotional damage, and we all know how it ends and I don't want to get there. So yeah, been watching that. And then I also saw that there was a new Bachelor in Paradise that just came out. I need to watch the first episode. If any of you guys are still into The Bachelor, let me know. I think I may be over The Bachelor and Bachelorette. I think production has done the last couple leads dirty, but I still wanted to watch this Paradise season because it looks good. So I think I'll give that a try. I don't know if I'll watch the whole thing, but that is an option for me. All right, I think that is all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate all you guys. I love talking to you guys in the comments. Don't forget to let me know what you were working on while watching this. And don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already and would like to. I hope you guys are knitting what is bringing you joy, and I will talk to you next time. Bye.